I told you earlier in another video with Mr. David Stone, Oklahoma might have the best defensive tackle room in college football. What if I told you the player we're discussing today is the one nobody is talking about enough? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Draft Yoda, where we're data-driven and prospect-focused. I am Draft Yoda himself, Bill Workman, your favorite draft nerd's favorite draft nerd. And today we're talking about Oklahoma defensive tackle Jayden Jackson. Jackson is carrying a 9.09 out of 10, making him my number 29 overall prospect, and number 3 defensive tackle, entering the 2026 season behind his teammate David Stone and Oregon's Amari Washington. Now, being defensive tackle 3 in this class isn't an insult. In fact, it says a lot about how talented this defensive tackle group is, because Jayden Jackson would have been the top defensive tackle prospect in a lot of other draft classes. Instead, he finds himself behind 2 players who are already viewed as future stars. And that doesn't mean Jackson can't become one himself. And that's exactly why we're having the conversation we're having today. Jackson, before arriving in Norman, he was a leader at ING. And that defense absolutely dominated high school football. It wasn't just a good defense. It was a defense that truly overwhelmed opponents. And Jackson helped anchor a front that surrendered 3 points per game while he was there, and barely more than 2 yards a carry. And if you think about that, that's not just dominance, that is complete control. Recruiting services loved him. Jackson was a 4-star prospect, top 200 national prospect, one of the 10 best defensive tackles in the country for his class, if I remember correctly. And he was a highly sought-after prospect. Ohio State, Florida, Miami, Texas, all wanted him. But he ended up in Oklahoma. And the Sooners landed a player they believed could anchor the defensive front for years. What impressed me the most is how quickly Jackson got on the field in Oklahoma. Defensive tackle is one of the hardest positions for young players because you're battling grown men, future NFL offensive linemen, veteran SEC guards and centers, and most freshmen need time to get on the field and start performing. Jackson didn't. As a true freshman, he played 13 games, started 10, recorded 30 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. That earned him freshman All-American honors. And that's not normal production for a freshman interior defender, especially in the SEC. That's why he became a freshman All-American. I'm fairly certain every site had him as a freshman All-American, whether it was ESPN, On3, you name it, they probably had him as a freshman All-American. Because the football world quickly realized Oklahoma had another building block on that defense. Sophomore season, things got a little complicated. Foot injury cost him some game time. Snap count remained somewhat limited. Production wasn't overwhelmingly dominant, but there were flashes. And those flashes mattered. 28 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and several games where you could see the next level starting to emerge. And truly the best example of that is the Auburn tape. If you're looking for Jayden Jackson's showcase tape, the tape that if I was in his corner, the tape I'd be handing scouts is the Auburn tape. 5 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. Completely just disrupting things in the interior. It wasn't cleanup production. It wasn't schemed pressure. It was a defensive tackle winning one-on-one battles and destroying the offensive game plan. He earned Outland Trophy's National Player of the Week honors that week. And I believe gave us a glimpse of what Jayden Jackson could become. And that's the ceiling we're talking about. Some of the things I love about him, first off, it's the get off. For a player carrying 320 pounds, Jackson gets to the football exceptionally well. His first step consistently beats offensive linemen to the spot, and as a defensive tackle, that matters. The battle is often won immediately after the snap, and I think that's something that Jackson understands. The second thing I love is his run defense. This is where he already looks like an NFL player. He's difficult to move. He's strong at the point of attack, and he consistently disrupts running plays before they develop, whether that is him jamming up extra blockers, him pushing the line so that it's not a clean line, him making a running back redirect themselves. He creates disruptions in the run game, and that's one of the things I absolutely love about him. Lastly, I love that he cleanly finishes his tackles. He only had 2 missed tackles. 2. For an interior defensive lineman, fighting through traffic, that is outstanding. When Jackson gets his hands on a ball carrier, that usually means the play is over. The modern NFL is searching for interior disruption. Teams want defensive tackles who can penetrate, collapse the pocket, and force quarterbacks off their spot, and Jackson has the athletic traits to do exactly that. What makes him valuable is that he doesn't sacrifice his run defense to chase sacks. He's already a complete early down defender. The pass rush upside simply is the next layer. Nobody is a perfect 10. Absolutely nobody. You will not see a perfect 10 on this board. Ever. Because nobody's perfect. They aren't. My biggest concern with Jackson is his pass rush development. Right now, Jackson wins because he's quick. The first step, burst, penetration. If an offensive lineman can stop that first move, that's where he needs to develop. He needs to have answers. Elite NFL defensive tackles have counters, hand swipes, cross chops, club rips, spin moves. Jackson's not there yet, but he can develop it. Second concern I have is the snap count. The workload hasn't matched the talent. He spent much of his career in a rotation, and until we see a dominant season where you're 4, 5, 600 snaps, it's going to remain a question of why you didn't play more. The third issue, and probably the one that concerns me the most, is his pad level. Against double teams, Jackson raises a little too high. And what happens is offensive linemen get leverage. Leverage wins football, and leverage wins on the line. Good news is it's coachable. Bad news is I saw it. So I had to say it. Other good news is while Jackson is one of the most intriguing defensive tackles, he's sharing a room with David Stone. And Stone is going to get most of the headlines. He's going to get most of the attention and most of the projections. But that actually helps Jackson because offenses won't focus on him entirely, and it'll leave him more one-on-one opportunities where Jackson has shown he is capable of capitalizing. The scary part, both of those players are still developing, and that is a nightmare for offensive coordinators that are going to be facing them this season. The big question is, can Jayden Jackson climb the defensive tackle rankings? Yes, he can. it'll take more pass rush production, but he can climb. I don't think he has the ability to catch David Stone because David Stone's ceiling is so high. But Amari Washington is a better size profile combination currently. But if Jackson can show that he has those pass rusher chops, in addition to being such a dominant run defender, we could have Oklahoma with the 2 top defensive tackles in this class. I have him as a 9.09 out of 10, my number 29 overall prospect, my number 3 defensive tackle, and truly one of the more reliable interior defenders in college football. He's a future NFL starter. His run defense already translates, and I think his best football is ahead of him. The pass rush plan needs to be the final piece, and if that develops, the ceiling becomes extremely interesting. But that's my board. Do you think Jayden Jackson is being overlooked because he plays next to David Stone? Do you think he can challenge David Stone for defensive tackle 1 in this class? Where would you rank him on the defensive tackles list? Drop your comments below and let's discuss it. If you enjoy these player evaluations, they're built around film and analytics. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to keep putting in the work. Our goal is to have 100 prospects ready for you before college football kicks off. As always, I am Draft Yoda, Bill Workman, your favorite draft nerd's favorite draft nerd, and we'll see you next time.